Hello and welcome to a video. In today's video, we're going to take a look at Florges with the buffed or like new Trailblaze on this Pokemon. And we're going to have a no legendary team with a meta where Kyurem is basically everywhere, Necrozma is everywhere, where legendaries are basically on every team, which has been the case basically for ages now. Of course, the question is, can you still play without running a legendary Pokemon? The answer is absolutely. No doubt. This team was amazing. This team was really good. I lost a few games down to... Actually, I wouldn't say lag. The thing is, I just didn't have good internet connection where I had to play there. So that was mainly the issue for it. But yeah, as we see here, this team was honestly a really good one to run. It is not the most creative one. It is a team that I basically showcase every single time the Master League comes back, because it's still a very good one, and it's the one that I would recommend you to build if you don't have any legendary Pokemon. Rhyperior was a community day Pokemon. Primarina was a community day Pokemon, and Florges has been spawning literally in like the last 20 events. I feel like I could most likely build 2 if I wanted to at this point. So all of those Pokemon should be kind of accessible, which is really cool as well. And all of those Pokemon are going to be good in other teams as well. It's not just like a singular team Pokemon. For example, Gardevoir, I would say, if you want to run Gardevoir instead of the Florges, this Pokemon would most likely just be good for this type of team. But Florges has like so much potential in different kind of teams. Primarina has so much potential, even with Charm or Waterfall. And Rhyperior is one of the best Pokemon anyway. Making this a team basically that should be a no-brainer for you to get, because it is such a good one for sure. Now, as you'll see here, we're gonna be able to go up against the Kyurem. They're gonna be able to go for another charge move here. They are going to have the Necrozma. Let's see if we're gonna be able to win the first battle or not. It is going to be the Kyurem and trying to go for another charge move here, but I think we might be fine here farming them down with our Rhyperior, and yes, we can move on to the next opponent. Moving on, Rhyperior. Rhyperior is going to be a matchup in Elite that we can play out if we want to, or we could try to swap out and catch the move. We caught a move, it's most like the Rock Wrecker. Never mind, they still went for the bait, but at least we're gonna get some damage until they sadly get the attack drop here. This is actually quite impactful. Why? Because now a Moonblast is not going to be enough to knock out the opponent's Pulk here. And so, while I thought this was going to be an okay matchup for them, Moonblast is still going to do a ton of damage, but it's not going to be enough to get the KO here, which you see if we didn't get the drop from the Breaking Swipe, which is a 50% chance, we would have been able to win this one. But it is what it is, that's the game we play. It's a game of chances, and here we just didn't get the correct chance, which is fine, because we're still going to be able to keep our Pokemon there with a Hydro Cannon, which is going to be fine. And we're going to get out the Rhyperior here with the Florges, where we have Trailblaze. Double super effective move, or we're going to be able to go for that move here as well. And I'm going to try to go for the full farm down. But as you'll see here, I'm going to be forced to use a shield, and they go for another bait, which is going to be allowing them to get the KO against us. Because, yeah, if they would have went for the Rock Wrecker, we would have been able to farm them down. Like this, we are not, and they're going to have the Kyurem in the back end. Guess what? That is not going to be the best matchup for me. Unless I get the shield here. I don't. Why? Why do you not give me the shield? It's going to be now sadly a loss here for sure. There's nothing that I can do here. We don't even get the debuff with a Breaking Swipe. And now it's down to us taking the hit here. But they have Dragon Breath, which maybe allows our Primarina to survive a bit, but I don't think we have enough health. Never underestimate Primarina. I have no idea how this Pokemon was able to now get the KO here, but Primarina was such a strong Pokemon. Palkia is still in the back though, and we still win the battle. That was such a close one, but we're going to have a Kyurem right now against us. They are running Ice Fang, we have Primarina, but we have the wrong Fast move, and this is actually a losing matchup, which is kind of ridiculous. But they are going to go for the Fusion Flare, which you can take, and so we're going to get at least, I thought, a shield advantage, but now we're just going to be able to go for the hard-hitting Moonblast against the opponent's Primarina, where we are going to be able to just go ahead and go for the swap out into the Rhyperior. As they don't run Waterfall, we're going to be able to go for the shield, farm them down, get some energy, and force some shields against the opponent's Kyurem White. Or do they go into this Pokemon? They decide to go ahead and go into their own Rhyperior, which is not ideal. We will see them going for a fast move here. That's fine. I can go for a Breaking Swipe. We're gonna get actually the attack drop, which is kind of nice for us. And I can try to catch the move, which does work out super well for me here. But of course, I still have 2 shields left. They are not doing too much damage here, of course, because a resisted hit, but I'm forced to use a shield here, hoping that Florges has a lot of play still. Even though here Rock Wrecker is coming through, I can still go for the Trailblaze, allowing me to boost my own attack, and I hope that I can fully farm them down with the recently buffed Fairy Wind. But they decide to let the move go through, which is not what I expected, We have to go for another Trailblaze here. This could be also, by the way, a disarming voice. That's why they use a shield here. They have to use a shield. And now we can swap out of here. I can go for a Breaking Swipe, and they're forced to go kind of straight for their own charge move, as they do, which is going to be great for us, because now they're hopefully going to be energy dry. Fusion Flare is coming here through there as well. I can try to get up to my charge move, and I cannot reach it in time. It's the CMP tie, which is going to lose us the battle here against a Kyurem White, which is kind of unfortunate. To be fair, Kyurem White has like 5200 CP. Our Flower and our Primarina there in the back, they only have 3600. Like, our Pokemon are so in a big disadvantage based on just the stats that they have. It's kind of madness that they can still keep up with all of the current meta. So yeah, this is definitely a team I would recommend you to give a try. We have a Primarina. We're going to be able to catch the move as well. It's going to be the Breaking Swipe from the opponent's Rhyperior, which is cool. And we can go for the full farm down here, allowing us to, yeah, get some energy. Let's see what they're going to go into. They're going to go into the Palkia, which means they have to be weak to Primarina in the back. I hope that they're also weak to Florges in the back, because I rather would use my shields onto the Florges than on my Primarina here. We will see the shield coming through, and I hope that I should just swap out after this one into my Florges, to be fair. I wonder if I'm going to do that. I think I'm not. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try to get to another move, but of course I'm going to be able to reach their move in time. So that was a bit silly. I gave them just some free energy here, which I guess I didn't want to lock myself into the Florges, which also makes some sense, depending on what they're going to have in the back. I can take a hit, Awkward Tail, not going to do too much damage here, but the next one I have to use a shield against. I go for the Moonblast, and now I have to use a shield here, which is going to make this a little bit more awkward. I expect at this point that they're very likely going to have Kyurem White in the back, because that would make the most amount of sense. And yes, they do have Kyurem White in the back. Why does it make the most amount of sense? Because against Primarina, you rather want to go into a Pokemon like the Palkia, which can double resist the fast move there, or like, yeah, double resist there, instead of going to this one. And here we are going to be able to even go for the Rock Wrecker, still knock them out, and goodbye with your, yeah, big legendary Pokemon. Okay, Primarina in the lead, it depends on what fast move they have. If they have Waterfall, you are kind of screwed here, you have to swap out then. If they have Charm, you can stay in, and you maybe want to swap out eventually. But as they hit the, oh, we gotta get the shield through the Rock Wrecker. It's a bit awkward to swap out here sometimes. I'm going to use another like a shield here as well. I kind of want to get rid of the opponent's Primarina, and so I decided to go for another Rock Wrecker here. Would get the knockout, but of course I can still swap out afterwards if I really, really want to. As I decide to use a shield, no shield there. I'm going to swap out into my Primarina, and they're going to have two Pokemon and very weak to it. But it's still not over here, because I have to kind of rely on, yeah, my Florges still later on. I think a Trailblaze still should be enough to knock out the opponent's other Pokemon. We can go for the Moonblast, which is not really what people always expect, and here this one definitely didn't expect it either, because this Pokemon again has also Disarming Voice, which would be something that people play a lot of times a bit more because it's faster, but actually Moonblast does so much more damage. I like to play Disarming Voice if you run Charm. I like to play Moonblast if you are running the Waterfall. Waterfall just has a better like energy generation, which allows you to get to the Moonblast a little bit easier. But anyway, you're going to see a Kyurem with the Dragon Tail in the lead. I kind of want to take a look at this Pokemon as well, because both Kyurems have different charge moves that are fast moves that I could use as well, that could have some play. While the charge moves are definitely kind of stuck like this because they are just the best of them all. I could see actually having different play for this Pokemon if it has different moves. I feel like for the Kyurem Black, I feel like Dragon Tail makes a lot of sense, because all of a sudden you're going to be able to win against most of the hardest answers to this Pokemon, like Palkia, like other Kyurems, like literally both of the other Kyurems. So Kyurem Black with the fast move of Dragon Tail would be an interesting Pokemon to showcase as well for sure. But yeah, you're gonna see here the Iron Head coming through from the Necrozma. We're going to be able to swap out here into our Rhyperior, but sadly we can only go for a Breaking Swipe. We would have not reached the other move. And so I hope my best here that I get the shield from the opponent, or like not the shield, the debuff, and then swap out into the Kyurem here. I know they have to take a hit with my Florges, but I just hoped here that I'm going to be able to just go for the full farm and hit them with like Moonblast, maybe two Moonblasts in order to knock out the other Pokemon. As you see here, we're going to be able to double resist the fast move, at least get a ton of energy. We can go for two more fast moves and go for the big Moonblast. Now I just have to catch the move, but if I go for one fast move and then swap out, I still should get the Waterfall damage in from the opponent and still get to another move afterwards. As you see here, the Waterfall damage didn't register. I think it should have. I think it barely should have, but it is what it is. Here, we are not going to be able to knock them out, even though they're debuffed with the Trailblaze. The Waterfall damage was the one that I needed here. I think I should have got through, but it is what it is. We can move on to the next opponent. Zacian, I think as it's actually called based on yeah, what it's supposed to be called. I think it's Zacian, even though most people say Zacian. Yeah, Zacian here is going to be able to go for the close combat. This is going to be fine for us. We're still going to have some nice play here. And I'm trying to catch up close combat on my Primarina. And guess what? That did not work out at all. And so we are going to be in such a bad spot here quite early on. Wild Charge is going to do a ton of damage and I still can get to another move. So I could have just stayed in. I should have just stayed in, to be fair. I could have played this out a little bit better. I was hoping they have play rough instead of Wild Charge. That didn't work out. At least I was able to catch the close combat here, which is kind of nice. And then we released their Xerneas out now, where we can go for a Moonblast, and I can stop out afterwards, but of course close combat is going to be a bit of a threat. But we're going to be able to do a lot of fast move damage here, which is more what I'm trying to count on. The close combat is coming through here. They're very letting us swap out, and they're going to reveal that they're going to have the Landorus in the back. I have to hope for a debuff at this point. Debuff is the only way of us winning this battle here. Please, we get the shield and the debuff. I couldn't even imagine anything better than this. So we see the Fancier Storm, we can still survive it. And I think one more charge move here with the Rock Wrecker should put them into farmdown range, but I hopefully can still swap out of here soon. I can swap out now. I will swap out now. I can take a hit here, guaranteed. I just need to get to another Rock Wrecker against the opponent's Landorus. Let's see here. They're going to stay in for a little bit. They try to catch the move. They're going to be able to not catch the move. They're going to go for a close combat. I was hoping I still survive this, but I don't. And now it's down to our Rhyperior. Can we still win this battle? Maybe we can. Yes, we can. Or Rock Wrecker. Easily going to be enough to knock them out. And we can move on to the next opponent. Okay, Rhyperior in the lead again. What I would recommend you to do here is go for 4 fast moves and then swap out into a Primarina. This is going to allow you to a lot of times catch the move here, which is going to be double resisted. And they don't know yet which fast move you have. If they have Charm, sometimes they stay in, or like this. But yeah, now they're going to swap out into the Dialga, but we still have a solid play here because we have Moonblast. You know what's also cool about Moonblast? Moonblast has this nice tiny chance of getting an attack drop. And this completely changes this matchup here for us. It's a 10% chance, so it's quite lucky, but completely changes the matchup because now, all of a sudden, we are going to be able to go for a Hydro Cannon, and this is going to be enough to knock them out, which we would have never got to if we didn't get the debuff there. Does it help us? It helps us with realigning for sure, but we don't know what they have in the back yet. What do they have? They're going to have Hecurum in the back, and so we have the Flower against it. Florges is coming in. It is not the best matchup either, but it's an okay matchup, and here's the issue just for like those Pokemon, like those non-legendary Pokemon. They don't have the bulk. They don't have the bulk that other Pokemon would have. Like, I don't know, like of course Zygarde is now a bad example because they have Ice Fang, which would be double super effective. But a Zygarde just would be able to take most likely even better than this one. Here, you saw that they actually caught the move, which I'm okay with because I want to get rid of this Pokemon anyway. Now it's down to us trying to win against this Kyurem. We can go for a charge move here. It is going to be, of course, a super effective hit. The opponent knows that. They decide to use a shield. We don't get the debuff here, which is a bit annoying, but they're going to go for another charge move. It is going to be the Fusion Flare, which is not going to knock us out either. If we would have got the debuff, I would have got another move here, but it's still okay because I can still go for another charge move here, winning us this battle. And you see on how strong this team actually is. Honestly, Florges is overpowered. Next opponent here, great lead for us. We see them swapping out into the Rhyperior. We have the Primarina, and they decide to go for a charge move. I can use a shield, I can go for the full farm down, and they had enough. Funny, but not as funny as the next matchup. We're going to have the Palkia against us. That is not going to be a great matchup at all. But we can go for some fast move pressure and then maybe swap out with a bit of energy into our Primarina. We catch the move, which is ideal. I don't know if they know that I have Waterfall now or Charm. Like, we got the fast move through, but a lot of people don't really see that directly. But they're going to be able to go into their own Primarina with Charm. But we can at least still go for a Moonblast. I know they have to use a shield on my Rhyperior in order to knock them out. Or I could go into my Florges now. Florges would have access to... Okay, we're going to go into my Rhyperior. Florges would have had access, of course, to the Trailblaze, which maybe would have been a cool way of knocking them out and farming them down at the same time. But we can overfarm here with the Rhyperior, getting the KO with a Rock Wrecker. Or not. They want to... Okay. We're going to see now the Rhyperior coming in now. And we can use a shield. Please don't be the bait. Oh, come on. What the hell? We're going to go for the Trailblaze now. I don't think it's actually going to knock them out. That's why I go straight for it, because I want to get the attack boost. And it does not knock them out. Did it help me to get the farm down done here? Absolutely not. But can we still win the battle? maybe they go for Breaking Snipe again. They don't get the debuff this time around, which is kind of nice for us because they go back into the Palkia. And we can say goodbye to that Palkia because we can go for the hard-hitting Moonblast to get the KO. And it's only now the Primarina. We have energy on our Rhyperior as well, but this Trailblaze is going to be enough. And Florges is going to be able to get the victory for us. And this is going to be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. And if you did, feel free to leave a like. And I will see you then. Bye-bye.